Good morning. Good morning. And as you get here, make sure you say hello and let me know that you're here. Good morning again. Let me go live in all the places and make sure that you say hello. I would love to know who you are and where you're popping in from. Let me make sure we are all right. So now let me pull this up on my phone. All right, give me just a second. All right. I'm feeling very grateful to be here with you guys this morning. And as I always say, I woke up this morning. That's a lot to be grateful for, right? And as I've been doing things this morning, taking the dog for the walk, bundling up for sure, and then doing all the little things that get me to this place of sitting right here in front of you, each one of those things that I was doing, I recognized as something to be grateful for. And it just helps you feed your day with amazing gratitude. And as we talk all the time, the more things that you find to be grateful for, the more things, hold on, this earpiece is popping off. The more things that will show up to be grateful for. So I encourage you, before we even start with our affirmation and our journal prompt today, to see the great gratitude in your heart for all kinds of things. I mean, I can even be grateful for the fact that I have a piece of paper to write on, right? I can be grateful that it is cold outside and it's not snowing. I can be grateful for the fact that I have an amazing heating air system in my home that keeps it the right temperature. No matter what temperature I set it on, that's what it does. I mean, what a miracle is that, right? I mean, if you think back many, many, many years ago, people didn't have that. They had wood burning stoves, they had fireplaces, and they had smaller homes for sure because they had to heat with those sources. So that's a huge gratitude thing, right? That the heat goes into each one of these rooms and keeps them the right temperature. Mm. So, what can you find to be grateful for? All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and, whoops, grab the affirmation here. Make sure you say hello and let me know that you're here. All right. So, I already had to tweak the my affirmation and my journal prompt because it got a little long-winded when I was creating it, and so it was a little too long. But so I was almost late getting on here because I was refining it a little bit, and I still probably didn't refine the journal prompt enough. But hey, it'll be all right. Correct? Yes, you agree? All right. So really quick, let me pop and see. Hello over on Instagram. Greetings to you as well. Glad to have you here. All right. So, our affirmation for today is I show up as my true, authentic self, knowing that my service creates a powerful impact. By living my best life, I inspire others to do the same. What are your thoughts on that one? I show up as my true, authentic self. Now, we know, well, there are a lot of people on social media that are showing their best self, their aspired to self, but not necessarily their authentic self. And by authentic, I mean who they really are inside. And so it's not just, especially when you're talking about your Facebook group and those kinds of things, it's not just about the polished version of yourself, right? Because what people are attracted to is who you are, the energy that you have when you're being true to who you are. Because when you're trying to be someone you're not, of course, we're always aspiring, right? But when we're, I don't really even know how to put that one into words now that I'm thinking of it. When you're, good morning, Angie, good morning. When you're being inauthentic, when you're basically telling a story that's not true and you're trying to polish things to a level that you think people will buy, then you're not being authentic. And there are people that really gravitate to people that are ultra polished, but they're probably ultra polished because they've been doing it for a long, long time, right? They didn't start out that way. That comes with Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins. It comes with all of those people. They didn't start out this polished version of them. And so you're not supposed to either. But a lot of times we are mimicking people that we see on social media, or they're really big into where we want to be. And it's good to aspire to a certain level, right? But we're not there yet. And the people that really need us right now where we are will gravitate to us when you're being authentic, when you're being your true self, living your best life. You will inspire people, but your energy will be so compelling. And when you do it messy, when you do it just who you are, where you're not, there's nothing wrong with editing, but if you edit every word that comes out of your mouth, are you really being your authentic self? So I want you to really look at it, because the people that really will gravitate to who you are and your service that you provide so that you can really help them, they're not going to gravitate to that completely filtered person, right? They want to feel your energy, your true spirit of who you are. Have you ever, when you think about it, have you ever walked into a room and maybe it's full of people, but you can feel that there are certain people that, that's not who I really want to talk to. And you'll almost navigate through a crowd of people and gravitate to certain ones. That's because your energy is in the same inviting place, right? The same goes as if you walk into a place and you're as depressed as hell, and you're going to gravitate to the also equally depressed person. So I'm not saying you want to navigate in that way. We want to navigate by being our authentic self, but the best authentic self, right? And that means we're looking at what we're focusing on, we're looking at what we're doing, who we're surrounding ourselves with, but we're still being true to our own inner voice, our own inner guidance. Is that making any sense? I almost feel like I am rambling, trying to get this thought out. And so, because to me, it's like I aspire to be a certain way. And as I aspire to that, I am being true to me as I'm moving forward. So, what I'm delivering to you right here, right now, is the authentic me. Now, I may have on makeup, which polishes me up a little bit. It's not messy. My hair is not messy because I've got work to do, right? So it's not that I'm saying you have to show up in your bathrobe and like you just got out of bed. That's not necessarily your authentic self. I mean, it is, but we have an authentic presence. I guess that's what I'm getting at. And be you. Right? Don't try to be somebody else. Because even if you aspire to the level of somebody else's appearance, the level of somebody else's following, even if you aspire to that and you mimicked them completely, you would still be different because we're like fingerprints. We have a voice that actually, even if somebody else standing right next to us is talking about the same thing, we have a different spin on it because we are different people. And so I'm saying tap into you and be you no matter what. Show up as your true, authentic self, your fingerprint on the world, knowing that you, as you are, the human that you are, that your service creates a powerful impact. And most of the time, we don't see the impact that it creates, right? It's that ripple effect that goes out. And we talk about this a lot because you can't see each person that you've affected, and they've talked to someone else, and they've talked to someone else, and it just ripples further out. And you will never know the difference that it made when you said something that maybe the person had heard 1,000 times, but something about the way you said it, it was like a light bulb moment. They shared that with someone else. Light bulb moment, they shared it. And so you will never meet all the people that your words have reached. Doesn't that feel powerful? Doesn't that feel like, ooh, that's amazing, right? And so by living your best life, being your authentic self, you inspire others to do the same. So how are you feeling this morning, Angie? I see you on here, and thank you for the good morning. And is this resonating with you this morning? And over on Instagram as well, share a little bit. Let me know. Is that something that's resonating with you? Can you feel how, when you are being truly authentic to who you are, how you show up? Because just by being here, you're creating an impact. Just by being in the world, right? Every smile you give to someone, every conversation you have a business every time you help someone. What an impact, right? Let's say, for instance, you're a person that is in the health industry, and there's someone that comes to you that's in pain, and you help that person to no longer be in pain. Wow, when you think about that, that is an impact, because when they go home to whoever to their family and their friends, and they're no longer in pain and they can enjoy being with people and doing things, all the people that they surround themselves with have such a great experience because that person is no longer in pain. So in essence, you've touched all of those people just by helping that one person. And what if you're a mindset coach and you help someone that feels so down that they cannot seem to be moving forward in life, and you say something that maybe they've heard a lot, but you say it just a little bit different, and now suddenly they're growing and they're learning and they're stepping outside of their comfort zone and they're helping people. Look at the impact that that has. So we're all the time making impact, even if we're just talking to someone at the coffee shop. We're making an impact. Just think about the barista. They're having a terrible day because everybody's being rude as hell. And you come up and you're nice and you're friendly and you're uplifting and you ask them questions by name. Is their day going to be better? Hell yeah, right? So you've made an impact. And what's going to happen, and you do not see it, is that the next person that comes up, because this barista now is having a good day, the energy that they bring to the next customer is going to be different. So you've actually helped other customers to have a better experience. We change things all the time just by our presence. By living your best life, you inspire others to do the same. So, are you up for living your best life? You can just put a yes in the comments, put a 1 in the comments. I don't care. Put something there. And then if you're watching the replay, answer and play right along. I would love to know if this is resonating with you and if you are ready to be living your best life, inspiring others to live their best life. What a gift you have to share, right? Just by being alive on the planet. Doesn't that change things a little bit? Just by being alive, you can inspire others. You can be living your best life. It doesn't always have to be this big explosion of things that you do, because you are serving people every single day in your day-to-day life with that smile, that kind word. So how are you showing up? Are you being authentic? If you're in this group, I would say you probably are, right? All right, so I'm going to have to take this off. Hold on, I got to tweak this a little bit so that I still don't know that it's all going to show up in one thing, but I will fill you guys in. Let's just check it out. Oh, some of it shows and some of it doesn't. So I'll tell you what the missing piece is. I tried to tweak it down a little bit, but I did not do a very good job of that. All right. So our journal prompt for today is, how can I show up more authentically while serving others? Great question, right? When we ask powerful questions, we get powerful answers. So the question is, how can I? So when you ask the how can I, there's going to be answers that come to you going through this process of the silence and the writing this down and really diving in. And I would love to know, how can I show up more authentically while serving others? How can you do that? And then list the ways that you can create impact by being fully yourself through your words, your actions, your presence, or your energy. Because our energy it reaches other people before we do. Just like someone that wears a lot of perfume. Have you ever had that experience where you smell someone's perfume before you even see them coming in the room? Somebody that got really heavy-handed with it? I know I have. But energy is the same way. Our energy shows up before we do. Before they see our face, our energy is there. So what is it that's showing up energy-wise as you walk into a room? What is your energy? And how does living my best life naturally inspire and uplift those around me? So there's a few little sections of this that are really powerful to dive into and discover about you and about the people that you serve. And remember, when I say serve, it's not necessarily that you have a product you're selling, maybe you're not coaching. It can be just by you going out and talking to people as you interact in the world. You just don't know the impact that you have just by being you. But if you have a business, if you're a coach, if you're an entrepreneur, Even if you think about it, even if you are a person that works corporate or you work a 9 to 5, whatever it is, when you're there, how are you serving? I've been a waitress before in my life, and I'm telling you, that can be the most fun and the most horrible experience all in the same day. But it depends a lot on your energy, right? How you when you talk to someone, are you bringing in all of their energy and replacing yours? Or are you emitting your energy into other people? I mean, it can be a push-pull sometimes, right? But if let's say you're in the service industry like I was when I was a waitress, there would be ways that I could go to someone's table and I could tell as soon as I got there that these people were not happy. They were pissed off, and it probably had nothing to do with me, nothing to do with the restaurant. It was probably something that happened earlier in the day. So I could have either, and I'm not saying I was perfect about it back then, for real, but I've always been, I grew up in an industry to where, we were in service. I grew up my family were all salon owners and hairstylists and that thing. So when I was a waitress, I was used to dealing with different types of people and their energies, but I didn't always do real good with it. So sometimes when I would show up to a table and they would be definitely not happy people, I would feel the unhappiness within them, and I would almost start feeling unhappy too. I would just absorb their energy. And then the service was not great. Their experience wasn't great. I didn't get a good tip, right? But then there were other times that I could show up at someone's table and then they were not happy. But instead of adopting their energy, I could start talking to them in a more serving way and actually feel the shift in their energy. Now, back then, I didn't understand what that was doing or how I was even affecting that, but I do now. So, what I'm saying is, when you are showing up as your authentic self, when you're being true to who you are and what your energy is as you go about, you can change people's world just by being there. And that's before you even say a word. Does that make sense? Let me check and see. All right, so I'm going to go back to our affirmation. I show up as my true, authentic self, knowing that my service creates a powerful impact. By living my best life, I inspire others to do the same. Put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes. Put it somewhere that today you're going to be reminded to be your true, authentic self, because it's powerful. And that's only your job. Nobody else can be you. They can pretend or try to be you. And the better you get at this, the more people are going to look at you and say, oh, I want to do what they're doing. The more authentic you can be, the better you can be, right? It's almost like, I like to say, it's kind of like, if you've ever known someone who would tell lies, right? They would tell make up things about their life or an experience or something. But the thing is, over time, they couldn't remember all their lies, right? So they would start messing up with what they were saying. And they would get caught with, well, I don't know that you were being truthful when you said this because you're saying something different now, right? And so I feel that when you're showing up as your true, authentic self, you don't have to remember the little story about who you think you are or who you want to be. You're just being. And as you're being, and that doesn't mean that you're not growing and becoming all the time. We are. We grow and we become on purpose. But you're still true and authentic. and it feels good in that place. So I show up as my true, authentic self, knowing that my service creates a powerful impact, an impact that I, most of the time, don't even see the extent of it. By living my best life, I inspire others to do the same. So, is there someone that you look up to and you think, I would love to have that kind of presence? I would love to be that way, right? The thing is that when you're being authentic, you probably are. And let me just share a little quick story. Where are we on time? Okay. I'm going to share a quick story that will demonstrate that. Okay. I went, and this has been quite a few years ago, I went to a spiritual retreat in Sedona, Arizona. And I remember when I signed up for this, I didn't know the person who was facilitating it. I actually followed her husband on YouTube, and I was in a lot of the things that he did. So I didn't really know her, but he talked about it. I signed up. It sounded great. And then I knew, or I didn't know, I just thought, because this woman was a younger person and I figured she would attract a lot of people that were more her age. And so I was probably going to be the oldest person in the room. And I was a little bit uncomfortable. And I'm used to, I would not, I have always been the person that would, how do I say this? I wanted to act a certain way, but I would hold back because what if somebody saw? Or, for instance, I had a friend that I went to the mall with, and the music came on, and he was dancing around and singing, and I wanted to join in, but I didn't because I didn't want to look stupid. I didn't want somebody to come by to see me and be embarrassed because they saw me, right? So I was doing that all the time, where I really would feel compelled to do this action, but I would hold back. So when I went to Sedona, the we would go hiking in the mornings, and we would all get into cars because there would be like 4 people in a car. There was a lot of people there. And so this one morning, and we'd been together for several days at this point, and we get in the car and we're going to Sedona. And Patty, the facilitator of this program, this retreat, was going from car to car, making sure that we had the address. We had put it in our GPS in case we got disconnected from one another and we could still make it to the place, right? And so as she's going from car to car, she's just flowing, and I don't know, she just had this energy about her that was so contagious, and it would draw you in, right? And so as she's going from car to car, before she got to her car, I said, "Oh my gosh," I said, "I would love to be like Patty." And everybody in the car laughed, and they said, "Why do you say that?" And I said, "She's just so flowing. She just has this energy about her. It's just, I love it." And I said, "Why are you guys laughing?" And they said, "Because that's the way you've been this whole time." And after that experience, I thought, wait a minute. When I didn't know a person there, and I assumed I would never see them again. So I was just being me. I was letting it flow. I was just talking and drawing and singing and dancing and doing all the things that felt good without worrying about what anybody else said or if anything, right? And so the thing is if you are being your true, authentic self, and you see someone else who is doing these things, more than likely you don't even see it in yourself that you are doing those things. Like, I had no idea when I was looking at Patty that I was doing some of the same thing as far as the way I was showing up, just as me. So maybe you are like I was, and you're holding back some, and you have this feeling inside that you want to do something. You want to be a certain way. Just do that. Be your true, authentic self. Because the thing is that I connected with people so much better when I was just being myself. And then once I came back from that retreat, that was a constant reminder for me that I could be my true, authentic self. I could just be, and it would be okay. And I've had more connections from that point and had a better experience with relationships than I ever did before, because I was always holding back in some way. So I'm asking you, where are you holding back who you are? Let it out. Be you. All right, so now let's go to our journal prompt. So, how can I show up more authentically while serving others? So, let's just make it this way. How can I show up more authentically me, whether I'm serving people or not? Because maybe you get hung up on that. But remember, serving people is just when you're out in the world and you're chatting and you're talking. It's not necessarily that you have a client in your hand and you're serving them. We're always serving. Does that make sense? List the ways that you can create impact by being fully yourself through your words, your actions, your presence, your energy. Remember, your energy shows up first. How does living my best life naturally inspire and uplift those around me? Because the thing that happens is, as you become more authentically you and you are showing up and starting to make impact, the people around you will start noticing and they will lift up too. And so it's a powerful, powerful thing to be you. And I want you to recognize how powerful just you being alive is for this earth, for this world. So, as I always recommend, get out your notebook, your journal, and then put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt. Then go ahead and say it out loud and say it with feeling. And then set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes and just sit in silence. Breathing in, breathing out, just focusing on your breath in total silence. And as your mind starts to wander, as it will, come back to your breath. You don't have to be stating this over and over. It's not like a mantra that you have to say while you're in silence. When the timer goes off and you pick up your pencil or your pen, there's a connection between the wiring in your brain and it just kind of filters out through your hand onto the written page. And so by tapping into that quiet space, you really dive into that inner guidance, that God voice that will direct you with things that you never would have thought of otherwise. And so if nothing's coming up for you as you get your pen and your pencil out, maybe tap into some silence one more time. But a lot of times it's just that we're holding it back. We're keeping it at bay because maybe we're afraid. Maybe we're unsure. But this is just for you. Nobody else has to see it. Nobody else has to know. You just write out everything that comes up. How can I show up more authentically in this world when I'm interacting with anybody? How can I be more authentically me? What does that look like? How does that feel? And then just list the ways that you can create impact in this world by being fully yourself. Like I said, it could be you're making a comment and being kind to the barista. Maybe it's when someone calls, even if it's a bill collector and they call, you're not rude. Maybe it's by being on social media and somebody posts something in a group and you have some thought, this feeling that, oh my gosh, I could say this. And instead of holding back and not interacting with this person, you go ahead and you post your comment, because it doesn't matter whether it resonates with them or not. What matters is that you were being authentic and you poured it out. Then it's not up to you. It is up to them. Your job is to just be you. They'll be them. And it's just like I used to have my daughter would give clothing to a friend, and because she didn't want it anymore, whatever the reason was, she would give the clothing away. And then she would get upset if this person was wearing it and it didn't seem like they were taking care of it. I said, wait a minute. I said, it's not yours anymore. That's not your responsibility. So when you give a comment or you give something to someone, then your job is finished. You don't control how they react, and you don't internalize whatever comes from that. You just be you, right? How does living my best life naturally inspire and uplift those around me? So you be you, boo. That's all you have to be. And sometimes we have spent our life filtering who we are depending on who we're around. And that was what I did, right? So the thing is that it may take a little bit to find that authentic you, but you start here and you start right now, today. All right. So let me think really quick. What is today? Today is the 7th. All right. So next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, Alpesh Patel will be here live in the group, and I'll go and look in the event section. His description for all he does is there, and definitely come in and make sure that you support him by being here on Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then let me see. I have a couple people that are already scheduled for March, and Rose Monk is going to be, I think, is the first one. And I put some information in the group yesterday because she has some free talks going this week. And so for you to check her out. And I haven't created the event for her yet. I just haven't gotten around to it, but we've got a couple of weeks out. So I figure we're good. I will be doing that either today or tomorrow, I promise. And so I just want to make sure that I am serving you at the best level possible. So if there's something that you are looking for in your life, in your business, and this is the Stand Up and Stand Out community is where this originates from. So if there's something that you are wanting to learn, something that you feel would serve you to have a guest about, then definitely reach out. Let me know. Post it in the comments or send me a direct message. But let me know, what is it that you are here for? What are you looking for? And then even you, Angie, I know you're on YouTube. And we've connected on Instagram. So let me know, is there something that would help you more that I can provide? And let's just see what we can come up with as far as me being able to serve you at a greater level. And in the meantime, be you, serve with heart, and watch the impact unfold. And I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Mwah. Love you guys.